Can Big Blue go green and go full Grinch on the Eagles on Christmas Day? That's the question. Let's break this game down from the Philly side of things with NFL writer for CBS Sports, and he covers the Eagles for CBS Philadelphia, Jeff Kerr. Jeff, thanks for hopping on with us, my man. We should call the Eagles the wounded Eagles because 3 straight losses for this team. Jalen Hurts took some heat for saying that his squad needs to be committed. Jason Kelce has come out and kind of cleared things up. I guess what I'm asking you, is there a rift going on in that locker room right now?
I wouldn't say rift, Brandon, but I would say there's been some finger pointing. And this has been, even when the Eagles were starting 10-1, there's been communication issues on the back end of the defense. The young players are getting confused with the defense. The veterans didn't like, how confusing the defense was. Guys that were brought in, guys that have been with this team for a while. So this has been coming. But it was shocking to hear it from the offensive side of the ball with Jalen Hurts that the team wasn't committed. And I think that was a message to this football team saying, hey, we got 3 weeks to get this thing right. And as the leader, as the captain of this football team, I'm going to publicly call people out. And I like what Jason Kelce said. Hey, look, I'm not disagreeing with him, but we do have guys in this locker room that want to win. And I truly do believe that as well. I just think they got to handle a lot of internal things right now. And, it's guys getting their piece of the pie or guys getting the football. I think they got to kind of take a step back on that and go for the team aspect right now. The Eagles they're a close-knit team. They're a close-knit bunch, but they just haven't handled losing very well right now.
Well, it makes you think, like, how long things have been going on internally, because winning masks everything, and they had started off 10-1. Nothing's going to come out publicly. You saw some back and forth with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts on the sideline. But, again, when you're winning games, no one's going to go digging. But you lose 3 straight, they've got some pressure on them. So I got to ask you, is this more of a get-right game for them, knowing that the Giants are kind of lesser in talent, or is this more of a must-win game for Philly?
Well, I thought Seattle was the get-right game, personally, but they also haven't beaten Seattle in 15 years, and they haven't won in Seattle in 15 years, so I knew that was going to be a tough game, and then you got the Jalen Hurts flu stuff, him taking a separate plane, you're like, okay, they still should be able to win the game, and they were winning the game until the very end, and, Matt Patricia was doing a solid job, and you saw the ending of that Seattle game. So maybe the Giants are the get-right game. They seem to be the get-right game for a lot of teams this year. And I just keep trying to tell people, if you want my honest opinion, it's the Giants. They should beat them, and they should beat them by 2 touchdowns. But I don't know if the Eagles can beat anybody right now. The Giants are still an NFL team. You have to go out there and play hard against them, or Tommy DeVito is going to cut this defense up. I don't care who's the quarterback. I don't care who's on the Giants' offensive line. You got to show up and play football. You got to play to your talent level. If the Eagles do that, then yes, it's a get-right game. But if not, Giants may pull off an upset here.
And that's crazy that you're having to say that about this team, the team that was just in the Super Bowl last season, the team that, again, started off 10-1. It's like this defense has shown its weakness, and teams are taking advantage of that. And you mentioned Tommy DeVito. DeVito madness is going south on 95 to go down there and try and light up the link and light up this defense. Any word on who's going to be calling plays for the defense this week? And if it is Matt Patricia, you think that the team and the fan base has confidence in Patricia?
So we had a running joke going into the week, and when we found out the whole Matt Patricia is calling the plays for the Seattle game, they never took away the defensive coordinator title from Sean Desai. So we called him the press secretary. He was going to answer all the questions while Patricia was going to do the dirty work. Well, no, Matt Patricia's actually speaking today at 12:30. So, or I guess technically it'd be Thursday, but yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but Matt Patricia is speaking this week. And so I guess Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator for the time being, even though he doesn't actually have the title. So Matt Patricia will be the one calling plays for this football team, Brandon. So you will see a Matt Patricia defense. And again, I like some of the stuff he did against Seattle. It just, basically it's personnel related, right? Sean Desai was the scapegoat for bad personnel decisions by this front office. And James Bradbury, as you guys know very well, James Bradbury looks like the worst cornerback in football this year. He's given up 9 pass touchdowns. Opposing quarterbacks have a 90 passer rating. So if Tommy DeVito wants to have success, you go against James Bradbury and don't test the rookies, Kaylee Ringo and Eli Ricks.
Well, I was about to ask you about DeVito mania. I was going to say, like, do you think that he can have the same success against the Eagles defense that Drew Lock had? And you kind of just answered that question. So other than James Bradbury in the secondary, how else? Are there any other weaknesses in this Eagles defense?
You know, for a team that's built to have a lead and get sacks, they don't do that often, at least not this year. Like, you're up 17-13. You weren't able to get a sack off Drew Lock and the Seahawks offensive line with 41-year-old Jason Pierce. I know Jason Pierce is future Hall of Famer, is having a solid year, but, you know, Hassan Reddick can't make a play. Josh Sweat can't make a play there. So, but again, maybe the Giants' offensive line is the cure-all. As we've seen, like, Tommy DeVito has been sacked, 27 times in his 5 starts. I think that's like the 5th most by any quarterback in his first 5 starts, which is kind of crazy to me. But, you know, one of my biggest criticisms of the Giants this whole offseason and going into the year was, yeah, it's great. They did this, they did this, they did this, but their offensive line still is god-awful. And they have proven to be god-awful all season long. So the Eagles should be able to feast on this kid, but can they? That's the thing. If you can't get pressure off the Giants, I don't think you're going to win a playoff game. That's just my personal opinion. So, I mean, the Giants, it's a bad offense. Tommy DeVito has at least put some excitement into it. But at the end of the day, if you just look at the battle between the trenches, the Eagles should dominate.
Yeah, if you're looking at the trenches, you can see what the Saints defensive line did to the Giants offensive line. So if you're Fletcher Cox, you're Hassan Reddick, this is, I guess they're looking at this as a get-right game against this Giants offensive line. Last but not least, Jalen Hurts is taking heat. James Bradbury has taken heat. Let's talk about the head coach. Is there heat on Nick Sirianni to win this game?
You know, the sports talk radio stations may think so. I don't, you know, I don't think Nick Sirianni is coaching for his job, but he's definitely pulling out the defense card this week, you know, defending his offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, saying it's his offensive scheme. These are his guys. And look, Jeffrey Lurie, he does care about offense more than anything in the world. He's fired head coaches that don't have innovative offenses. And right now it's not looking like that, even though you have Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, this offensive line, and they can't score 20 points in the football game. It's crazy. But no, I don't think Nick is coaching for his job yet. You know, maybe that's something to revisit after the season. Again, look, they have 3 chances to get this thing right. Christmas against the Giants. And you play Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals. And you get to play the Giants again. The Eagles have one of the easiest schedules, if not the easiest schedule, to close out the year. And they can still go 13-4, which is one heck of a season. So, in a way, yes, Nick kind of has to stop the fire. But I don't think his job is on the line by any means. I don't think he's coaching for his job. But you have to wonder, you know, the way this team has fallen since the 10-1 start, if the pressure is cooking for Nick.
Yeah, and you could call it the city of brotherly love all you want, but when you're losing games, you're going to get some hate. Jeff, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find all my work at cbssports.com. You can find me every Sunday if you really want to watch CBS Sports Philadelphia. You know, I know this is a New York station here, but you can find me on Sunday kickoff. I'll talk about the game, and I'll have plenty of coverage from the Eagles and Giants on Monday from both angles. Because let's be honest, Brandon, the Giants, they've at least put some excitement into a long season over the last couple of weeks.
It's definitely worth watching, and thanks for joining us, and Merry Christmas if I don't see you, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, Brandon.